Hello, my name's Lee, and welcome to Candor Conversations, where we have open and honest conversations about the care community at large. Today, I'm joined by Andy Rossford, CEO of the Caroola Group. Caroola Group are one of the top 50 apprentice employers in the UK, and Caroola are committed to a long-term business strategy that fully embraces the apprenticeship programme. Thank you ever so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today?
Sure. So I'm the CEO of Caroola. We provide accountancy and umbrella payroll solutions to the UK's agile workforce, which is contractors, freelancers, people basically who are self-employed. I've been with the business for about a year now, but prior to that, for the last 20 years, I've been the CEO of a variety of different businesses, and every single business has actually used apprentices. So I'm pretty well versed in terms of what the apprenticeship program can bring to a business. But it's also quite personal. I left school at 16 in 1980, went into the steelworks in South Yorkshire, and I did the equivalent of an apprenticeship. For 4 or 5 years, I was trained in a variety of different disciplines. So I didn't go to university, I left school, and it's never held me back. And I feel quite strongly that within the UK, we need to offer entry-level careers to people without forcing them to go to university. Most businesses don't need a university degree for the jobs that are to be done. They need people who are literate, numerate, and have got the right kind of attitude and character. So we are able to take people out of the education system and offer them formal training, the ability to learn a profession, the ability to get degree level qualifications whilst earning and learning. And after 3 or 4 years, they will have a degree level qualification. They'll have 3 or 4 years of experience and they won't have any student debt. And I'm a great believer in that. I managed to build a career coming that route. And I think we as an economy, we as a country need to offer people the same opportunity now that I had back then. And we're very mumuch building our business using that model, and it is proving to be incredibly successful.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, I myself went to university, and after 3 years, on day one of the job as a graphic designer, I had no idea what I was doing, and I could have really used that real world experience. Now, Caroola themselves have been really at the forefront of apprenticeship initiatives. And from the offset, you sort of established yourselves as a leader in apprenticeship delivery. Can you tell us a little bit about your organisation's core values?
Sure. So, again, I'm a very strong believer in having strong core values and embedding them in the business and using them to build as the foundation of the business, but also to create a culture that people understand what you're trying to be as a business, and not just what you do, but who you are. So we very much, when we're bringing apprentices on board, a lot of the assessment that we do early on is to explain what our values are and see if they map onto the individuals. We're very much in that higher character trained skill kind of frame of mind when we're doing the assessments for anybody who joins our business, not just apprentices. So we have 3 core values, and each of them are really important in terms of how people can develop and feel when they're working for Caroola. So the first value is to be yourself, and this is about allowing people to come into the work environment, to feel comfortable in their own skin, to be able to express themselves in the way that they would outside work, to feel safe and supported in that way. And we should, always seek to encourage diversity. We should be inclusive. We should recognise that everybody is an individual and allow them to be that individual. So be yourself is very much the first of our core values. The second is play for the team, and that's really ensuring that people understand that when they're in Caroola working, they are part of a team. no one works in this business in isolation. I don't work in isolation, and nor does anybody else. But to be effective in a team, you need to understand what you're trying to achieve. You need to understand what your role is within that team, and you need to be nurtured and mentored and coached by the people who run those teams. And it's really encouraging, actually, that a lot of the people who are now running teams with our new apprentices in originally were apprentices themselves, and we've given them the ability to grow into management and supervisory roles. And we've given them, and part of our Caroola Academy, which is what we use to train people, has just launched a management development program that our former apprentices are now going through. So the second value is play for the team. And it's really, really important that people put the team above themselves. And then the third value is making it happen. And that's really encouraging people to make decisions and to get things done and to feel confident that they're able to do that in the context of still being managed and coached and mentored. But people need to have the ability to learn from either doing things well or making mistakes. And you know, we all do that, and we all learn from that. And we've got a culture where we encourage people to get on and do it. And you know, that sort of sense of speed is really important in a business, particularly when you're trying to do what we are, which is grow ahead of our competition. So our three values, and they're really, really important, are be yourself, play for the team, and make it happen. And you know, the beauty of our apprentices coming in is, you know, we can help them understand how we work as a business, what our own processes are. They've not been conditioned for the world of work in the education system. So we're their first real sort of benchmark yardstick in terms of this. And we find that our apprentices very quickly embrace what we're trying to do. And it does help that we mapped them on from a personality point of view during the assessment process. We're pretty confident once they join the business that they'll find it easy to sort of thrive within the culture and values that we've got as a business.
What a journey. I mean, you've mentioned there that you've got managers in place that were apprentices themselves. So that's really full circle. And then you also briefly touched upon the Apprenticeship Academy that you yourselves have set up. What sort of spurred you on to set up your own academy within the business?
I think I've learned from in previous companies that you need that structure and that formality to allow people to progress in a logical manner. And I think having a strong set of training partners and working together to structure that learning in a way that makes sense for both the apprentice in terms of the order that they learn things, but also the way that we can then deploy those apprentices within the business. There's a logical flow to how they develop their understanding and their skill sets, particularly if we take accountancy, which is one of our core areas. We have to do that in a certain order, and we needed to have a formal plan. What we've done to align with that plan is we've created some incentives so that every time that an apprentice passes an exam, they get a monetary reward, and they know what that is in advance. We've also done it so that as they progress through their apprenticeship and learn skills and are able to add more value to the business, they get salary increments as well, and they understand what those increments are and when they're going to happen. So we needed to bring all that together into a formal structure, and the Caroola Academy is a great way of doing that. It makes them feel like they belong to something. It makes them understand that they're on a journey. They understand where they are in that journey at any point in time, and it allows us to track their progress and understand, you know, at what point do they come out of that, and you know, and at what point do we need to feed more people in? And the way we structured it is that every year we'll be able to have an intake as our apprentices progress. We fill in behind, and we needed a structure to build around that to make sure that we did it in a logical and controlled way. And the academy is the perfect way of doing that.
Yeah, I suppose that's the perfect way of complementing the actual career path as well as that sort of developmental path. And I mean, it's so refreshing to hear those sorts of words, because it's 82% of apprentices that succeed have to have a clear development path. That's all they want to see. Having monetary incentives on top of that, what a bonus. You're not going to see many universities offering that sort of level of commitment to their learners. Now, speaking of commitment, now you've made a commitment to the training and development of all of your colleagues, but it doesn't stop there. You've made a decision to invest and gift any unspent levy funds to provide support to smaller businesses. What sort of made you take that decision? Why did you think that supporting these smaller businesses was so important?
I think there's a couple of things here. The first is it's the right thing to do. And as a responsible employer, and also an organisation that wants to offer opportunities to both local businesses and businesses on a broader scale, it feels like it aligns with what we're trying to be as a business. But secondly, part of our business is to be an umbrella payroll provider, and we happen to have a business model, and the way it works is that means we have an awful lot of employees in the umbrella business where we get apprenticeship levy, and we just cannot, as an organisation the size we are, take advantage of all the levy that we accumulate. But we do have the ability to gift it to other organisations. So that's what we've been doing, and we've had help from some of our partners to make sure that we focus on that. We've picked the children's care sector. I think there's a very there's a very good reason for doing that, in terms of they potentially can't afford to do this on their own. And to date, we donated 585,000 to organisations in that area, and we've helped, I think, to date, to fund 87 apprenticeships. So, and we'll continue to do that. We've also got a further gifting arrangement with the FCSA, which is an organisation in the umbrella payroll world, where we're providing them, today we've pledged £200,000 to allow them to share that with other businesses as well. So, it's this funding is available, and if we don't use it, it goes back to the government unspent. So we just felt it was incumbent upon us to help other organisations take advantage of that. And at the end of the day, by taking advantage, they're offering further career opportunities and training opportunities to apprentices. So whilst that doesn't directly benefit us as a business, it does impact both society and the economy. And therefore, as I said right at the start, it feels like the right thing to do.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, the residential childcare sector continues to struggle, really, just with that increasing demand for skilled care workers. And it's just wonderful to hear that you recognise the importance of that vital sector, and you're doing your part in sort of closing those skills gaps. Now, you're working with Paragon Skills. What was there any factors that influenced your decision to partner with Paragon Skills for this levy initiative?
Well, I think there's a number of reasons why we partner with Paragon. The first is because they are our key training partner in the accountancy world. So we've built a relationship both at a business level and between the individuals, and also they were able to help us navigate what we're trying to do in the levy gifting approach. So it just made sense to extend what we're doing with Paragon in our own apprenticeships to do that broader thing. And the sort of proof of the pudding is in the eating kind of thing here is you only have to look at how much we've been able to pledge in a reasonably short period of time, and the impact that's having, and the fact that Paragon were willing to take a lot of the effort away from us because we didn't quite know how to do it, means that we can achieve our objective by having the support of someone we're already working with in the training world.
Collaboration is key, absolutely. And with someone like yourselves, you've fully embraced everything apprenticeship from the start. Can you sort of describe the collaborative process with Paragon Skills, how that sort of process has evolved over time?
Well, I can only really speak for the time that I've been here, but in the time I've been here, they've been absolutely crucial in helping us set up the academy. You know, the way that we're deploying the training, the way we're monitoring that, the way we're encouraging and allowing people to study us alongside how we work. You know, we rely on our training partner to help us understand how to do that well. We've got people in our business who know how to, you know, do the people management side of apprenticeships, but the need for a strong partner like Paragon on the training side is that's their speciality. So when you bring the two things together, we know what we're trying to be as a business. We know what skills and amount of resource we need to do what we're trying to do as a business, but then we need a training partner who can help us do all that side of it in a very streamlined way, in a very effective way, and you know, having the regular checkpoints that we do allows us to make sure that we're keeping this thing on track. And obviously, as we've built it up, you know, 59 apprentices coming into the business this year, we need to know it's going to work in a very smooth and streamlined fashion. And yeah, we've built that level of, I can see we've built that level of trust, our understanding of what each side brings to it and the way that we're going to do it. And having that continuity and that experience and that longevity just means that as we build this up, we know it's going to work smoothly and effectively.
We've already passed that £500,000, that £500,000 pledge threshold, and you've already mentioned there that another couple of £100,000 going forward to the levy pledge itself. I mean, what are your future plans with the levy fund?
We'll continue to exploit it ourselves, because obviously it helps us in terms of funding the training for our own apprenticeships. But we'll also, through our apprenticeship team, seek to make sure we deploy everything that we've got as a levy fund, either internally or externally. It would be, I think, remiss of us as a business if we didn't provide the opportunity for other organisations to take advantage of our levy pot. It's a pot that's larger than we'll ever need ourselves. So we'll just continually commit to finding good causes and the right places to deploy that to the benefit of other organisations.
Now, with the childcare sector, what are your hopes that the future impact of this initiative will have on that childcare sector?
Well, the first thing is it itself is providing an absolutely vital service and looking after people who need that kind of care. But I guess our ultimate goal would be that there are people coming out of having benefited from being looked after by that childcare sector who then can go into apprenticeships, potentially with us or potentially with other people. So, you know, it's one of the reasons for why we think it's a good linkage here is that you know, the future beneficiaries of apprenticeships may be currently in the childcare sector.
And it is making a huge difference. I mean, I spoke with Pete Dyer-Davis from Oakham House, and he himself said that they were extremely grateful for the funding that their staff apprenticeship scheme has had. And it's been incredibly beneficial to know that their children are being cared for by skilled staff who have the knowledge and ability to support them through their individual circumstances. So already it's making a huge difference. And I myself can't thank you enough. I'm sure they themselves can't thank you enough. I mean, if I was an outside organisation and I was thinking, all right, I want to get involved in this, I want to help some people out, I want to put some money down on the levy itself, I want to pledge, what would be your advice to them?
Come and talk to those kind of organisations like ours who are already doing it, or people like Paragon. The other thing I would say is that, you know, people are very quick to knock government for all sorts of policies, quite rightly in many cases, I'm sure. But you have to say that this is one government policy that I mean, is from various different flavours of government that has worked absolutely fantastically. And that whole idea of the levy pot and the ability to share it is really forward thinking. And I think we should be thankful that that it is there and we're able to do it. But if people want to take advantage of it, they should explore what the potential is within it, and then they should come and talk to organisations like us about how we've managed to make it work in practice.
Absolutely fantastic. And thank you ever so much for offering to help on that one. So we've talked today about apprenticeships, the joy that they can bring to the business, and we've also talked about the levy itself. Now, you're an absolute bastion when it comes to apprentices. You've been through the journey yourself. I'm a learner or a potential learner. I'm thinking about doing an apprenticeship myself. What would be your advice to me?
So I'd go back to some of the points I made earlier. Think about what it is you're looking to do in terms of career, both in terms of what you're interested in, what you think you're good at, and what your aspirations are, and explore what types of apprenticeship is available to support you in doing that, as an alternative to potentially staying in further education and funding that yourself through student loans or whatever. I think there are three main benefits for people who potentially go into apprenticeship. The first is they get into the world of work and they start earning a salary, and that helps them in terms of supporting themselves and giving them options in terms of lifestyle choices. The second is that the apprenticeship program is structured in such a way that they are going to get excellent training that will lead to qualifications, and that potentially pushes them along the journey they want to go. And then the third thing I would say is, if they find it's not what they want to do, they've still learned about the world of work. They still have the opportunity to have a go at whatever it is that they've chosen in the first place, and it's not too late for them to try something else. And I think that really is an important point. That and we're doing it with our apprentices. If we find people who've got the ability to, or the skill set that's maybe slightly suited to something else, we can offer them that opportunity. And a lot of employers will do that, because if they find people who sort of fit in with what they're trying to be as a business, we can accommodate that and potentially train them, in a slightly different set of things. So it gives people optionality afterwards. But I would, unless you want to be something, if you want to be a doctor or a profession where you have to have degrees to be able to do it, I would say choose carefully and look at apprenticeships as potentially the most attractive way to get into the world of work.
Fantastic, Andy. Thank you so much. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. I've learned an incredible lot about the actual business itself, and it's great to see someone doing something so good, not only for the people around them, but for the community itself. Thanks again for joining us today, Andy.
Thank you.